Alright, welcome back to the channel. This is an exciting one. This is the ultimate slope experience. This is the same exact mine as the Vulcan Ironworks hoist and also the infrastructure video. Links will be in the description.
You alright, buddy?
I was originally going to make this a silent video with a text where you read, but yeah, it's just too much work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just dub audio over it where I see fit. So hopefully you enjoy. Be sure to like and subscribe. These opening scenes may look familiar to my regular viewers, and they would be correct. That's because I did a video on this particular mine already, and that is my infrastructure video. So be sure to, again, check out the links in the description.
For anyone that may not have watched that video, however, this is a concrete reinforced manway, and it had mine rail acting as a three-piece timber set. So there would be a piece of mine rail to the left and right, and then overhead, and that acted as a support for the roof in order for it to not come down. So this entrance that slopes downward is known as a manway, and a manway is simply an entrance and or exit, depending how you look at it, for miners entering and or exiting the mine. And it was exclusively for the miners. It was not for trips of coal cars going in or out of the mine, because it could be crushed by that type of equipment. So this was just for the traffic of coal miners. A lot of these manways, and they will actually say manway on the coal mine map, used to be muleways, and again, that was a dedicated route for the mules to walk in and out of the mine itself. But once the mules were antiquated and they brought in the electric mine locomotives, that's when a lot of these entrances became dedicated manways also. I can't stress how rare of an entrance this was. You really never see entrances in this great of condition. This was just a remarkable find. Truly was. This portal being in such great condition was not a coincidence too. It was just due to great engineering, great quality American steel with the mine rail, and excellent quality in the concrete that they poured. So now we're getting ready to go down the manway slope and deep into this abyss. Can't wait. So now we're headed down, and this slopes downward at an angle. There was never mine rail here. It was just for foot traffic of the miners. Here on your left-hand portion of the screen is a beautiful intact vein of anthracite coal. And look at that roof. Beautiful colors. I did add a slight filter to the video, but it is just gorgeous naturally. Look at that. There's no filter in this shot. So the coal on the left-hand side was not mined in the room and pillar method. They didn't mine coal, leave coal, mine coal, leave coal. It was a solid slab of anthracite coal, and that was known as the Manway Slope Reserve, or just Manway Reserve. And they kept that coal intact so it would hold up the roof that you're currently looking at. The only coal extracted from this portion of the mine was from when they were making the slope. The rest was kept in reserve. My friend up there was taking a photo. That's what the flashing was. So on the right-hand portion of the screen, you'll see a pipe coming down from the roof. This would have once connected to the breaker that is now long gone and was on the surface. And this supplied the miners with compressed air to power their tools. You are not looking at a cave-in. This is just from the mining process when they were making this manway slope. And they just had a small little passage to get through in that one particular section. There's that air compressor pipe. This timber has seen better days. Whoa, look at that. We're continuing our journey downward. I really admired the contrasts between this lovely, gorgeous vein of anthracite coal and the overhead roof. It was spectacular, breathtaking. Mother Nature is amazing. There was some sort of geologic abnormality with the coal in this particular spot. Look at that. It's like it ran out or something. Some sort of fault or something. I'm not a geologist, but this stuck out to us. And right past this geologic abnormality, there's some cave-in, and you have to go over it. So I'm sure that cave-in is tied into that abnormality. Here I'm looking back upward, which would be towards the exit. And there's that geologic abnormality again on the right-hand side. This was the only bad portion of roof in this section of the manway. Overall, it was in great condition going downward. Here we were crossing over a little bit of cave-in, and we always took any crossing over roof fall very serious. You have to pay attention to what the mine's telling you, and if it was too sketchy, we would not go over it. Look at how beautiful this is. I did add a filter to this, but still, look at that. We cross the cave-in at this point, and I'm looking back out towards the exit. This is just pure eye candy. Look at that. Remarkable. That roof, those timbers, I give it a 10 out of 10. The timbers were pretty high in this section too. Look at that. I did add a color filter to this video clip, but wow, that looks so good. So gorgeous. Breathtaking. This is my favorite video clip from the manway slope. And we're heading towards the main haulage slope, by the way. Main haulage is exactly what it sounds like. It was for hauling coal cars in and out of the coal mine. Parallel to the manway slope on the left-hand portion is another type of slope, and that was simply an air shaft. More like an air shaft slope. And right here they punched into it. So right here there was some survey points in the roof, and I don't want to make it easy for people to possibly identify this mine if they're savvy with maps. So that's why I have to put those emojis there. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to be responsible. You can see a big crack in the coal, which means that was taking some weight. Look at this old school gem. This was a hand cranked coal auger. This was
pre-mechanization. This was from the black powder era. A coal miner and his laborer would manually dig into the coal face with this in order to prepare for blasting.
Just blurring out that survey marker again. All right, now we've transitioned into that air shaft slope, because at the bottom of the manway it just gets pretty sketchy. So you have to kind of hop into this parallel slope. Check out this acid mine drainage stalagmite, and it's attached to a stalactite. So I wonder what you call that. It's just from roof to floor, but that thing is huge at the bottom. It's so wide, it's like a barrel. And look at all the other stalactites. They look like icicles. Really something to see in person. Look at that. That's how those stalagmites form. Believe it or not, we have now just come into a third slope that parallels the second slope. There's where we came in from. So yeah, it's getting a little long and treacherous. I like this piece of coal, so I thought I would take a quick video clip of it. Like glass, almost like lava rock or stone or whatever you call it. Finally, we're getting to the main haulage slope section. We just came down from that third slope, and there's a big cave-in from an overhead working, another survey point I had to obscure. Whoa, 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 whoa. What do we have here? An intact main haulage slope, complete with the rail and electrical wiring. What? This is next level rare. I mean like unicorn rare in this hobby. Sorry, I gotta turn on my TV even here to look at this. I love that filter. You're probably wondering, what are these steel cylindrical contraptions? Well, they're called wire rope guides. I'll mention what function those served here in a second. But first, check this out.
This was an electric buzzer system. Some guy would have stood here. There would have been a little brass hook coming down, and he would pull on that to alert the hoist engineer top the slope where to direct coal cars. It was, in a sense, a Morse code like system of communicating amongst the mining employees, because they couldn't see one another. They were separated by hundreds of feet of rock.
We're looking up the slope and towards the outside in that shot. I have no idea what this thing is. Looks like a brake to an old boxcar in a train. I don't know. So this slope was extremely steep, and atop the slope was a steam hoist, and that would raise coal cars up and down the slope via hoisting cable, and the hoisting cable wound around a cylindrical drum.
Well, because this slope was so steep, they were worried about the hoisting cable cutting into roof of the mine, and that would have occurred because it gets extremely steep. So these cylindrical drums in the mine roof above the slope would prevent just that. They actually had a little oiling lubrication port, and these cylindrical drums would actually turn, most likely in a clockwise fashion, and that would just keep the hoist cable safe. They're probably loud though, they'd probably be like Sorry for so many similar shots from the same angle. This is just such a sight to behold, however. I wanted to get it just right, and I wanted to share as many of these scenes as possible.
It's hard to convey just how steep this slope was, and maybe 30 yards down from right where I'm standing here, you can't even see these rollers. They just vanish. So yeah, very steep.
Going down the slope.
Wow. This is a thick layer of clay that was against the rail of the slope. And look, you can see where the mine car wheels cut into that clay. It's like a time machine. It looks like it was just made yesterday.
Here's a cool piece of mining engineering. They got telephone pole-like timbers that were very hefty in construction. They would drill holes into the bottom portion of the slope wall and rest them against the mine rail. There's one right there. And that would prevent the mine rail from moving. They didn't want derailments.
To the left is the main portion of the slope rail that continues down, and to the right is a siding that would service a different level of the coal mine. This is a rail frog. You could see how the coal vein is sloping down the mountain. They were chasing the coal down the mountain. There's an air wall that they breached. Looking down, and we are going way, way, way down. I can't believe that wiring is still there. I think that was communication wiring. I'm not 100% certain, however. There's a porcelain electrical insulator on that timber. Look at that gorgeous intact vein of coal. And this would be a slope reserve. Again, they didn't want to mine that because they wanted that roof to stay up. Really is rare to see an air brattice wall in an abandoned anthracite mine in this good a condition. It was to regulate airflow, to channel it. As I fall in a puddle. God, you hope those Tommy knockers aren't going to knock back. I'm creeping myself out.
try to remember this sign because right here is atop a vertical air shaft. And later on we're going to see the bottom of that air shaft looking upward. This roof looks like tiger stripes, doesn't it? It really does. It's cool to see how steep this coal is pitching downward or upward, however you look at it. But bituminous coal, for instance, does not go in steep angles up or down. It lays basically flat. Just a fun fact. Again, this is the beautiful vein of anthracite coal itself, whereas the old school Irish miners would have said from Ireland, anthracite, anthracite coal. Oh, thank God we got to the bottom of the slope. Overhead, there's an old piece of air ventilation pipe, which is pretty cool. You don't see that often. I explain what this section of the slope is in my video that is linked in the description, my infrastructure video. It's really good. And again, it concerns this mine, and you see in great detail the building to the left and the building to the right that you'll see momentarily, which was a mine office and a mine hospital respectively. So feel free to check out that video. It's a really cool one. Standing at the bottom of the slope, to the right and up would be the way out. Down here is deeper into the mine. You'll notice coal mine rail standing vertically against this massive coal pillar, and that was to help reinforce and protect that coal pillar, because that was the only thing keeping the whole bottom of that slope open and from caving in. Mine office is here to the left, remarkably intact. Again, see my other video. And here is the pretty creepy looking mine hospital. I have no idea what's reflecting in that mine hospital back at me. Kind of scary. I like how in the concrete there, they made a little trough going from the top right to the bottom left. You can see it right there to catch water.
Good craftsmanship. These timbers were so interesting because they were not only supporting timbers, but they also had insulators on them for the overhead electrical wire for the mine locomotives. So they were trolley poles. There's another view of that little trough that they dug out of the concrete to help channel the water away. This is the markings of the minecar wheel cutting into the clay. Interesting.
Look at that steep overhead working. Wow. And all that debris came crashing down from it back in the day. All that wood.
These roots are not roots, it's some sort of fungus or mold. That's pretty interesting though. There's one of the overhead trolley wire insulators or mounts. I have no idea how this would have been safe with all this water dripping. Does not look safe at all. For those that may not know, the overhead trolley wire was run off of electricity, and it would have been incredibly powerful and strong. Very dangerous.
There's a small passage to hell itself.
This is a caved-in mine working, most likely from robbing of the coal pillars.
Here is a view from the bottom of that air shaft that I was telling you about earlier. This is looking straight up, and it goes about maybe 50 feet, possibly 60 vertically up. This is the same view, but without that previous video coloring filter.
Some delicious acid mine drainage. Standing atop a cave-in, and we're gonna head down into a really cool rock tunnel. Look at this rock tunnel. The light bulbs were still in the wiring overhead. All the wiring was there, all the track was there. It was chaos. I loved it. It was really cool.
Rock tunnels were tunnels that were driven through solid rock. There was no coal. They were super stable. They were usually for the haulage of coal and just connecting various parts of the mine with other parts of the mine. Think of them as highways. Wow, look at this electrical panel of some sort. Pretty good shape. This gate was really cool. Still swung open and closed. This machine here was for electric mine locomotive sand, and they would spray sand on the rail to gain traction going up grades. The big railroads on the surface do this till this very day.
Here's a rail switch. I bet you it would still work.
Looks like they scrapped some of the rail. That was not an uncommon thing. Mechanized drill marks from the, relatively speaking, modern era. That's when they drove the rock tunnel, when they made it. All these overhead pieces of steel are mounts for the overhead trolley wire. Again, the overhead electrical wires that powered the mine locomotives. I'm not sure what this was. This might have been a housing for a fire extinguisher or some sort of housing for electrical. This is kind of creepy and terrifying. It's a mine car coupler or hook on a chain. I don't know what it was used for though. It's like something out of a horror movie. I absolutely love it though. It's so terrifying that it's cool. Here the mine just continues to go and go and go way down this gangway. We had to turn around, unfortunately. Sorry again, I had to obscure these survey marks. Eventually this acid mine drainage will completely destroy these rails, but they're still kind of there. I'm walking in a former rail bed that has had its mine track lifted, most likely from the miners themselves, just trying to make a buck once the mine closed. A lot of them came down here to scrap the rail and the overhead copper trolley wire. Can you blame them? They just lost their jobs. A lot of their friends were killed down here, and they were paid substandard wages. So they were like, hey, I'm going to get the last laugh. A cool World War II era Texaco oil can. I would bet that that light bulb is still fine, and if you were to unscrew it, bring it back to your house and plug it in, it would work. Look at that. The wiring is all intact down here. We're coming to an internal slope. Guess what's up there? The Vulcan Ironworks hoist. Link in the description to that video. Check this out. An old sardine tin from Norway. Too cool. After reading this, I was like, wait, I think the other way's out. No, wait, the other way till the other way's out. Wait, who am I? Where am I? What am I doing here? I'm like, this is really cool. This hook was the bottom of the minecar hoist wire rope. That would have been ground zero for hoisting all of the coal cars up and down the slope, probably for nearly 100 years. I guarantee that was some old school hand-forged American steel. This part of the mine was really dry. Like, look at that. That should not be that preserved in an anthracite coal mine that's been abandoned since 1960. That looks like it's brand new, but it was incredibly dry down here. Well, it's been a fun 8 or 10 hours, so time to go. I'm tired. Oh wow, look, magic. Now we're at the bottom of the slope, looking up. And this is a smoker. This is hard to traverse up and out. You don't really get your cardio in this coal mine. No joke. One last look down the slope, and now we're gonna head out. So please be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, I highly appreciate you watching this video and being a loyal subscriber to this channel. I appreciate you all. I really do. Please have a good evening. Thank you.